But the solution that we hear from clients is, I find it is to be very interesting as well, because like, what's the solutions they come up with? Like typical.
For the follow-ups?
Yeah, for follow-ups.
They put like a task in their calendar.
more.
Or they do more of it, right? They just
So we're going to follow up prospects, follow up leads, follow up deals, follow up all that stuff, and do more follow-up.
They just like throw some shit on the wall and hope that it sticks.
Yeah, and then they say, hey, we need to track our staff to make sure that there's more activity being done.
Here's the uncomfortable truth. The biggest threat to your business isn't your competitors or the economy. It is you. Every single day, opportunities are slipping through your fingers, not because your product isn't great or your marketing isn't smart, but because of one simple, often overlooked action, the follow-up. Today, we're diving into why so many businesses unknowingly sabotage their own success and how HubSpot can help you turn things around. Let's get into it.
Welcome to HubSpot Mentors podcast. My name is Semi.
Oh, and I'm Tasha. Thanks for joining us today to talk about your follow-ups.
Exactly.
What a hot topic, hey?
It is. You know, it's interesting because I get clients. This is a topic that obviously we onboard clients all the time. So we speak to clients on a regular basis, all various clients from different industries, not one particular client that uses HubSpot or anyone else. They always come to HubSpot with the expectation to solve the follow-up problem that they're following up, right? All of them. And I was just thinking about this, right? Going, hey, look, what are the types of follow-ups that they would be expected to do? So I made a little list, right? Here are some. Follow up a prospect, follow up a lead, follow up a deal, follow up a proposal, follow up a conversation, follow up your friend, follow up. Follow up. Like, follow up is the foundations.
Yeah. And just for some shits and gigs, I use the abbreviation F-U when I do follow-ups in my portals. So I often have to tell my clients, F-U doesn't mean what you think it means. It actually is a follow-up, because there are so many different types. And Semi spot on. Our clients, specifically Sales Hub clients, will come to us saying, one of the biggest problems is we've got sales slipping through the cracks. We don't know how do I know that I sent someone a quote on Friday and it's now Wednesday the next week?
Yeah. So we can't find enough follow-ups in the day, right? That's the problem, right? So then the question is like, why is this a problem? And like, the truth is like, there's obviously some aspects of loss of revenue, right? Mm-hmm. There's some aspects of like potential sales, whole bunch of things. Why?
Reputation. They go somewhere else. You don't look as professional.
There's no attention to, like, when people lose bad attention.
100%.
You know what I noticed, Tash, though? But these are all the things. And the reason why follow-ups tend to kind of fall through the cracks is because it's not something that you can measure. You can't like measure potential loss of revenue because of the lack of follow-up.
You know what, Semi? Like, side note, and maybe this is like another podcast episode, or hit me up on LinkedIn if you want to know about this. But for a particular client, we tried to implement something to do that, and we did using call types. We did 15 different call types, follow-up call 1 all the way through to follow-up call 15. And then we've created custom reports to measure that. It's very tedious. And if you're listening and you're a HubSpot user, you would know how tedious and like advanced that probably is. So definitely hit me up if you want to know more. But you're spot on. Out of the box, it is very hard to measure the loss or like that gap between how do we lose it based off a follow-up.
We know the why it's a problem, right? We know it's anticipated problem. I wish, like, you hear the comment all the time when clients were like, when you're speaking to someone that you want to do business with, they're like, damn it, you should have told me a couple months ago, I would have attended,
100%.
Like, damn it, like, we've got an event coming up. We do events all the time at Red Pandas, right? We're like, damn it, you should have told me, I would have been there, you should have done that, you know what I mean? And it's like the onus is on the other person, and there's no way of tracking that conversation with HubSpot. So that's why I think the why is strong enough, right? But the solution that we hear from clients is, I find it is to be very interesting as well, because like, what's the solutions they come up with? Like typical.
For the follow-ups?
Yeah, for follow-ups.
They put like a task in their calendar. Or they do more of it, right? They just
So we're going to follow up prospects, follow up leads, follow up deals, follow up all that stuff, and do more follow-up.
They just like throw some shit on the wall and hope that it sticks.
Yeah, and then they say, hey, we need to track our staff to make sure that there's more activity being done, right? And then there's the task listing gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then people get burnt out and stuff, right? So like, and then you go back to this thing that follow-ups aren't being done. It's a big problem, right? Like there's a couple of things I heard is like, we remind our staff on a daily basis to do follow-ups. Mm-hmm. right? Or they reinforce the fact that they need to do more follow-ups to make sure that they win through things.
Yep. We have a bit of a cadence here. So if anyone's heard me ever talk about customer journey mapping or sales follow-ups, we will always say here, over the years that we've done these processes for clients and implemented HubSpot, it's on average between 8 to 10 touch points. So that's not just 8 to 10 follow-ups, it's 8 to 10 touch points in one stage of your funnel, right?
Yeah.
So if one stage of your funnel is a discovery meeting booked, there should be between 8 to 10 touch points of either following them up, connecting with them, chasing them up afterwards, reminding them that the discovery meeting's coming, like geeing them up for it. So and it's not just email, it's email, SMS, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, like however you communicate with your clients. And then, same to what Semi's saying is like every single stage of that funnel requires a different type of follow-up, a different cadence of follow-up.
Yeah.
So if you
different
have something
styles,
like exactly,
and omni, right? Like it's omni-channel. Like
That's
it's like it says you go, hey, today we're gonna be talking about follow-ups today, but it's much bigger than that's why he says like much bigger than follow-up, because it's like a culture change. It's on top of that, it's like a system change, and there's like lack of reasons why people would stop doing follow-ups. It's like, if you Google, if you use ChatGPT to search that up, you see a whole bunch of lists why people would not. Or it would be difficult for them to follow up on. If all of these tasks were done manual, right, you can only follow up like 3 people or 4 people a day.
There's only so much you can remember. Human error, right?
Yeah.
Human error.
7
time.
people, right?
Yep.
So some of the solutions that we've been testing out, right, which is like, obviously looking at it's good that you mentioned the customer journey mapping. Obviously that's what we love doing, right? But then also looking at that and going, hey, what are the points that would require some form of automation to make sure that the follow-up is somewhat prompted in the right time, right? So a couple of things that come to my mind would be like when someone opens an email, right? Then you would prompt the follow-up for the team to then call that person, right? Another good example of a follow-up time frame would be, and this is stuff that you can do with workflows, is like you'll say, hey, I just sent the proposal out to someone, right? If that person, obviously, if you use like PandaDoc or one of those softwares that tells you if someone opens and does an action, it will get prompted with that. That will be the perfect time to then do the follow-up. So instead of follow-up for the sake of following up, if you tie the follow-up to an action, right, you would get a better response. Yeah, right.
Makes sense.
Because the person's right there. Like I've had this cause myself where like I will send the proposal out, and then the person would be, and I've got the workflow that says if someone that I sent a proposal out to then has a look at my page, right, on like pricing page on my website, they're considering 100%. Me, right? So therefore, I should be notified. So that workflow on its own is an amazing workflow.
Yeah. And
so that then I get notified, and I'll just give the person a call, and the response you get is like, mate, I was just on your website.
Oh,
right?
were you really? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, were you really? Right, exactly.
We're in digital marketing. We're tracking you for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Like, that's the advantage of HubSpot, because marketing and sales combined together.
So I think,
mixes together, right?
Drive home Semi's message there is like the benefit of HubSpot is that you can track like everything, right? So if that person has filled in a form on your website, or even just your meetings link, that cookie gets dropped on their browser or their tracker or whatever. Yeah. And any email you send to them afterwards, any website page they visit afterwards, any buttons they click afterwards or links, we can see and track and monitor essentially.
Yeah.
Like Semi was saying, if they go to a particular page on your website, we can be notified, so that not only are you going to do your standard follow-ups, but what Semi's talking about is super powerful shit. It's like knowing exactly when. Like we talk about this moment of truth when you send a review us email.
Yeah.
It's a very similar thing. It's the moment of truth when you pick up the phone to follow someone up. And if you know when exactly to follow them up and you get them at that moment of buying, it's almost a done deal.
It's fresh. Absolutely. It's fresh in their mind, right? So there's also HubSpot does this new thing, not new thing, but traditionally HubSpot would use sequences to make sure that the follow-up isn't messed, right? So like sequences, for those people that don't know, is like it's a combination of between automated emails, tasks for you to call, tasks for you to then send additional stuff, and you can also use it to like remind yourself to send text messages and blah blah. So there's a whole bunch of steps that would do. Interestingly enough, HubSpot came up with this new, which is we could go into a featured feature, right? It's called the dynamic sequence.
Semi's geeking out hard over this feature, just so you guys know.
I am geeking out so hard.
He's wanted to do this episode for quite a while. Just side note, this is for Sales and Service Hub Pro and Enterprise only.
That's correct.
Okay?
Yeah.
Go.
Thank you very much. So the workflow that we talked about, the remind me when they open up, would they look at my website, blah, blah, blah. So HubSpot's created this dynamic sequencing function with HubSpot that then ties that activity to a automated, so that the activity to a task. So if someone clicks on my email a couple of times, then please, create a task for me to then chase this person up, right?
So before this feature, Semi, we used to have to do this manually with workflows, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So why this is so cool is for years, we've been doing these workflows that Semi's talking about, but we've been setting them up manually with workflows. Now with Sales or Service Hub Pro or Enterprise, dynamic sequences, it's almost like, it's just like out of the box.
It's out of the box.
You just go, that's the one that I want to apply. That's the one that I want to apply.
It's like, honestly, it's so much better. And honestly, like one more thing as well that I was, we'll jump into screen sharing now, and I should be able to show you what this looks like. Is like the addition, the previous sequencing wasn't tied to an action. So like it would like call them and the following day, call them, and a week later, okay, great. Like I call them, I'm like, hey mate, how you doing?
It was very
standard. What do you talk to them about over the phone? You're like, hey, I just remembered to talk. Or I just remember to call you. I
got an automation that I have to follow you up. Yeah.
I got an automation to call you, and therefore I decided to call you. So like, it's not disconnected unless you have like some form of assignment sending or something that you would do, right? Which is something that we advocate for. But putting that aside, it's really, really robust. So this new feature, let me jump straight into it. If you, it's still in beta at the moment. So for you to be able to get access to it, you need to, you're in your HubSpot page. I'll show you where this is. So on the left-hand side, this is our demo portal. So all this information here is not something that you should be like looking into in detail, but it's a demo portal, so don't freak out. So in here, you go into, on your right-hand side, you go into your where your account section is. If you scroll down onto the page, you got like product updates. You click on product updates. Just for those that you've never seen this page, this is where HubSpot has all their upcoming new features. You can go through, read each and every one of them if you like, or you can just look at the one that you need, which is in beta at the moment, and search dynamic. And then once you search dynamic sequence, it should come up. Now I've already subscribed to it anyway, so it should say join beta, and then you click into that, and then you add your you jump into it, right? Where does this live? So if you go into your sequences in your portal, and then it lives in the sequence section. Now on the top right corner, now you should see like a little drop down arrow, right? So that's one way of getting into it. The other way is if you go into create a sequence, and you can see it's now on the left hand side, you can see create a new dynamic sequence, and it's got the function here. Let's just create a new one, right? So it looks like a standard sequence in the setup. So you got your automated steps, you got days to complete, you got manual steps, unenrolled criteria. Now just note, there's no templates out for this yet. So you have to create these one at a time by yourself, but at least this makes you more intentional. So it's a good thing. So you go into configure your setup, automate email. It's going to be all automated emails in the beginning. So let's just put one example from prospecting that we have as a template. So you got this prospecting email template that you would go out. And then you can see it's a little bit different to a standard one. Now on the right-hand side, you got this little arrow that points to your right and says signals, 2 opens and 1 click. So that should give it away to something, right? Which is if the action equals to 2 opens and 1 click, then it tells me to do a whole bunch of steps if someone opens the automated email or clicks on a link, right?
Nice.
So that's the function, right? So you can add more automated emails. So I can add another one. It's the same thing as a normal sequence where you can add in more email templates. So let's just add another email template, prospecting email number 2. You can add another 3 in there. And so what will happen is, Put the number 3 in there. So what will happen is on day 1, when you enroll someone into the sequence, they will get the first automated message, right? It goes into their message and then they don't see it, no problems. And then you've got a delay between the automated messages. So you can set that to 1 day, 2 days, and then second day later or 2 days later, they get another automated email, right? Again, these automated emails are supposed to be from you, your inbox. It's one-to-one sales inbox. So it's not like a marketing message where doesn't have the unsubscribe from the link below. So it's like personally from you, right? And then you can customize this to meet whatever your follow-up requirements are, right? And so if anyone in this automated email sequence, if the person that you've emailed opens the email twice or clicks on a link inside your email, then there will be an action item which you can set for you to then either create a new task to call the contact to follow up, right? And so it's not necessarily waiting for you to go, hey, listen, here's a, did you read my email? You didn't read my email? Like it's not that. It's like, if you receive this task for you to follow up, they already email.
Yeah. It's so traditionally sequences, you couldn't do, this is like an if-then branch based off of that email that goes out first. Traditionally, the only if-then really was if they click a link or they book a meeting, they come out of the sequence. So that was the only parameters there was. Otherwise, the sequence will keep going.
I think it's still the case.
Yes, but now you've also got this if-then logic, if you will, which is saying when step 1 happens, so email 1 goes out, if they open it twice and they click on a link once or whatever those things were, then we won't keep going down the standard sequence over here, over on the left. We're actually going to branch out and do these other actions, whatever these other actions are that Semi's just said.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool. Dynamic sequencing. That makes a lot of sense.
Exactly, right? And then so you can add, okay, cool, I want to do a task and I want to send them a in-mail task in LinkedIn to do that. So it goes back to like your standard sequencing option, right? Which is, like I said, I think it's amazing because of the fact that it gives you notifications out of the box on making sure that you can do it. Now, for those that, this is great for if you're going to manually enroll people, but honestly, in my opinion, Tasha, I know you like marketing stuff and I'm more in the salesperson, but in my opinion, if you were to put this on your website for a downloadable, if you were to use this sequence as a option, autoresponder for download content, right? Yep. This would be way more efficient just because the fact
I agree, I agree.
Yeah, that there's no unsubscribe. It's directly out of the person.
Yep.
And to show you where that is, if you go into standard stuff, you go into automate, go into create an automation, and then there's form submission. So you would then select the form that is in there, and that would be a way to automate that stuff. Same thing with the automation triggers, which is page view. So if someone is in your database and they view your page, then you can send them an automated email out. So again, the point of this episode right now is how to automate the follow-ups that you need to do and only focus on the key follow-ups. So if you have one follow-up task rather than 15, I would rather take that one follow-up because the system has done the remainder of my follow-ups.
Yeah. And I just also saw that you can add sequences to a campaign. So to echo what you're saying, I would have to say I agree. So traditionally, we've always done a marketing form and a marketing workflow when someone's filled in a content downloadable piece. But after seeing this on this episode with you, Semi, I would say my opinion's probably changed. You're right. If you do it as a sequence, if you're fortunate enough to have Marketing Hub and Sales Hub Pro together, and you've got a flagship piece of content on your website that you can offer as a download, when they fill in the form and you trigger something, it should be that sequence that Semi just took you through. Because you'll get 100% deliverability rate with that 100%. Email. Whereas your autoresponder as a automated marketing email, I have from experience seen doesn't have the best deliverability rates, unfortunately.
100%.
That's another episode we could talk about. But that's really cool. Good stuff. I think that in our show notes, we will link to the knowledge base on dynamic sequencing so that if anyone's keen to give it a go, they should. If you've got anyone listening, if you've got any feedback on a dynamic sequence that you've built or something that you even want us to share,
or if you have any questions, right?
Yeah, or any questions, share it with us. It's exciting. Semi, anything else on dynamic sequencing you wanted to mention before we wrap it up?
just use it, man. Use it and abuse it, right? Like at the end of the day, if it's going to save you doing from everyday follow-ups to something that you got to automate and only do one follow-up, you're saving yourself not only time that you can track, not necessarily like loss of revenue, which is obviously time, but in general, but so you can actually track your time, how much time you'll be spending on. So it'll be a massive time saver so that you can focus on things that actually matter.
Like closing deals. Well,
Exactly.
That's it for today on HubSpot Mentors. The truth is, follow-ups aren't just another task. They're the heartbeat of your sales. I love this. With HubSpot's dynamic sequencing, you can stop chasing and start closing. Opportunities are waiting. Are you ready to grab them? Until next time, stay bold, stay curious, and keep winning with HubSpot.
Thanks, guys. Bye.